Seems to be game over for RB Leipzig out in the Bundesliga as they continue to drop points this past weekend. Is there any hope for the Borussia Dortmund? We'll take a little look next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. This time we'll take a look at matchday number 31 out in the Bundesliga, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Bundesliga related, football related. We got it all here under one roofski. Now, before we jump into that, got a bit of news, folks. Got a bit of news. Yes, that's right. We have a brand new squeaky clean Patreon. That's right. Bianca Moller, welcome to the gang. Big round of applause. Big round of applause. She has now joined the exclusive VIP gang of Patreons. She joins the list, including Russell Frost, Cody Cahoe, Tom Clark, Tom Beresford, the legend John Spurn, Aztec Marky B Mark, No Code Drinker, Dan Meller, and now Bianca Muller's in there. So if you want to join Bianca Muller and the rest of the crazy gang, there is a list or a link in the old description down below for the price of a cup of water, bottle of water, or you can push the boat out and explore some other tiers of support. I'm actually going to revamp the Patreon for the next season. I just want to get this season, just like you guys, get this season done with, and then we'll move on. But yes, thank you very much. And let's get into it then, shall we? See how we, and of course the Patrons got on out in the older prediction league. Not prediction league, predictions. We'll talk about the prediction league later. But anyway, let's get into it. So here we go, folks. It is the Bundesliga. That's what we're talking about. So let's get a look at how I got on last weekend. Of course, it was a double match day for Werder Bremen and Eintracht Frankfurt. And Werder Bremen started it, and they also continued to it with an absolute shitter. They lost 3-0 to Eintracht Frankfurt at home. I actually went with a 1-0 win for Werder Bremen. I thought they were going to turn the corner here and get themselves out of the old relegation zone, but it looks to be pretty grim times for them. But the game of the weekend, of course, was over in Leverkusen. It ended up as a 4-2 belter in favour of Bayern. 6-goal thrill. I actually saw as 2-2 draw, so I got the one wrong as well. Again, not the greatest weekend for me, prediction-wise. I just want to get the season over, folks. I want to start the new season. And, of course, my boys, they did lose to Freiburg. Yeah, 1-0 in the end. Borussia Mönchengladbach tumbling to defeat. I actually went with a 3-1 win for Mönchengladbach, so I got that one wrong as well. Frankfurt were back in action again on the weekend. They took on Mainz, but they lost this time, 2-0 in the end. Mainz coming out on top with a big win for them. 2-1 I went with for Frankfurt, so I got that one wrong. Düsseldorf took on Hoffenheim. That ended up as a 2-2 draw, I believe. I actually went with a 1-0 win for Hoffenheim, so I got that one wrong as well. And Dortmund, they did keep the pressure on Bayern, 1-0 winners over in Berlin to stop their fantastic start or reboot, should I say. I actually went with a 3-2 win, so I got the result right in the end. Leipzig, though, what a shitstorm they had. They lost. They didn't lose. They lost points, only mustering a 1-1 draw at home against bottom of the club, bottom of the league, Paderborn. Actually went with a comfortable 3-0 win, so I got the one wrong as well. Berlin, that's Union Berlin. They took on Schalke. That ended up all square, 1-1 in the end. Schalke, really bad run of form at the moment. Actually went with a 2-2 draw in this one, so ain't too shabby. The battle of the W's at the bottom there. Werder Bremen took on Wolfsburg. That ended up as a 1-0 win for Wolfsburg. I actually went with a 2-1 win for Werder Bremen. I thought they were going to make 6 points on the rest of the gang here, but they didn't. And then wrapping it up, it was Augsburg up against FC Köln. And I actually went with a 1-1 draw, but it ended up 2-0 win. Got the right amount of goals, though, in favour of Köln. That's right. So that makes that, and that equals that in the old Bundesliga table. Bayern München remain top of the table, 7 points clear. Dortmund are second, 63. Leipzig are in third, 3 points clear of Borussia Mönchengladbach, and of course Bayer Leverkusen are in fifth spot. But that could all change, folks, in the next match day. Down the bottom, still Paderborn, rock bottom. Werder Bremen got 25 points on the board. Fortuna just about 28. It would have been a completely different story if it would have went my way, but my way was an absolute stinker. So not really happy about that. But how about you guys? Well, to be honest with you, a lot of you guys followed suit and did very, very piss poor this weekend. Let's have a look at it then, shall we? So, how did you boys get on? I think I should disappear for this. So, let me just hide. I'm still here, but I'm incognito. So Johnny talks Bundesliga, buddy. You were pants this weekend, just like me. Absolute poo. Joachim Johansson, respect to my patron. He did all right for himself. Good round of applause for him. Leo Gare did pretty poop. LG and Cow did absolutely gash. Who else did we got there? Robert Laws, though. I'm going to give you a round of applause. Not too shabby on that bad boy. Cody Ho, another patron. Respect to my brother. He did pretty poop as well. Ree did not too shabby. Bianca, the new patron, coming in there with a pretty woeful prediction round this time out. Vincent Hung did okay for himself. Sabino did pretty good. And Yannick Bustler, not too shabby as well. So a lot of reds and a lot of yellows. Kicking on to the next batch. Hang on a minute, what we're going on here? We get to see them twice, I think. Israel Marimo, he did pretty good. Robert Howless, pretty terrible, to be honest with you. Carl BTW, he does talk Bundesliga, and he did talk it this weekend. Ain't too shabby. Omiyar Esquiville, he did okay for himself. Michael Foley, not too shabby. Mars Austin did pretty pants as well. Ili Machiro Dodila Nosa Isa did pretty good. Football Mappa did pretty good. And Costas K, not too shabby. Liam Martin down the bottom. You also did ain't too bad. There was actually quite a few. It's just me and a couple of the guys did absolutely terrible. So it's now heading into match day number 31. We're going to kick it all off, of course, with Hoffenheim against Leipzig. Now, if you are watching for the first time, get your predictions in the old comment section down below. We'll feature you next time around. So let's get into it then, shall we? We are talking about Hoffenheim taking on Rasensport Leipzig. Now, I've already said it's game over for Rasensport Leipzig, but if they get themselves a win here and a defeat for Bayern, they might be back in it. But realistically, it's going to look doom and gloom for them. Anyway, this game takes place on Friday, the 12th of June. The last 6 encounters between the two sides sees 2 wins for Hoffenheim, 3 wins for Leipzig, and 1 draw. They played in Leipzig earlier in the season. It was a 3-1 win. Timo Werner, possibly Chelsea's next striker next season, got himself a brace. Marcel Sabitzer on the score sheet as well. Emin Bjakacic getting the goal for Hoffenheim. Last time played in Hoffenheim was a 2-1 win as well for Rasensport Leipzig. Heading into this, Leipzig, they're doing well, but they're just dropping points with too many draws. Hoffenheim actually turned a corner as well since the reboot. They did kick it off though with a defeat to Berlin, but since then it's been 2 wins and 2 draws. Heading into this, Leipzig actually undefeated in their last 11 matches in the Bundesliga. The bookmakers' odds, they go 5-1 for Hoffenheim, 9-20 on in favour of Leipzig. 4-1 is the draw. A win for Leipzig could see themselves go, well, nowhere really. They'll be stuck in 3rd spot if they are victorious. A defeat could see them fall down to 5th, but it's going to take a bit of a miracle because they've got a superior goal difference in the chasing pack. Hoffenheim are in 7th. A win for them could see them rise above Wolfsburg into Europa League contention, into top 6. I'm going to go with I think I'm going to go with a draw on this one, 1-1. The form book says so. It might be worth a cheeky bet. You never know. Because of Hoffenheim turning in the corner and Leipzig's just drawing games occasionally, I just see this one panning out to be a 1-1 draw. Next up, we have Fortuna Düsseldorf up against Borussia Dortmund. Again, must-win game for Dortmund. They need to win this and hope that Bayern slip up, which is going to be a big old tall order for them. They are playing at home. Anyway, the last 6 encounters sees 1 win for Düsseldorf, 4 wins for Dortmund, 1 draw along the way. They played in Dortmund earlier in the season. It was a comfortable 5-0 win. Goals from Hazard, that's Thorgan Hazard. Jadon Sancho got himself a brace. Marco Reus got himself a brace as well. Quite comfortable in the end. The last time they played, though, in Düsseldorf was back in 2018, and it was a 2-1 win for Düsseldorf. Dodi Lebacanyo and Jen Simmer on the score sheet. Paco Alcazar getting the goal for Dortmund. That was all the way back around about Christmas time 2018. Heading into this, Dortmund actually won defeat at the past 5. They've won the other 4. Meanwhile, Düsseldorf at the past 5 lost 1, won 1, and drawn 3. So the form book, of course, favours Dortmund, but they are away from home. Dortmund have actually won 8 of the last 9 matches in the Bundesliga, and they've scored 2 goals, at least 2 goals in the last 6 away matches as well. So they like scoring a couple of goals. The bookmakers 13-2 for Düsseldorf for the win. 9-2 is the draw. 4-11 on for the red hot favourites. That is Dortmund. A win for them could see them close the gap to 4 points between themselves and Bayern at the top of the table. It's a bit of a tall order at the moment. I do fancy themselves getting a win out of this one. Düsseldorf, though, a win for them could get them out of the old relegation spot, playoff spot, up into 15th. Maybe 15th. I think that would just about do it. I'm going to go with a cheeky 3-1 win, quite comfortable in the end for Dortmund to take the 3 points, and then moving on. Next up, moving on indeed, is Hertha Berlin taking on Eintracht Frankfurt. Hertha Berlin have actually shot themselves up to 9th in the table. Frankfurt are now in 11th. Heading into this, the last 6 encounters sees 3 wins for Berlin, 1 win for Frankfurt, and 2 draws along the way. They played in Berlin earlier in the season. In fact, that was a friendly. They did play in Frankfurt around about Christmas time, 6th of December. It was a 2-2 draw in the end. Everyone got themselves a plenty of goals. Dodi Libercalio, sounds familiar, scoring a goal for Hertha Berlin. Marco Guduric as well for Berlin. Martin Hingerenger and Sebastian Röder getting the equalisers for Berlin. The last time they played over in Berlin in an actual game that counted for something, it was a 1-0 win back in 2018, and Marko Grugic was on the score sheet again, so he likes scoring against Frankfurt. If he's still on the books, he would like to do it again. Hertha Berlin have actually scored at least 2 goals in the last 3 home matches, but Frankfurt actually scored at least 2 goals in the last 3 away matches. Smells like a 2-2 draw, does it? We'll take a look at my prediction in a minute. Evens for Hertha Berlin for the victory, 12-5 for Frankfurt, 11-4 for the draw. Frankfurt could rise themselves up to a 9th spot lead for Hertha Berlin in the process if they're victorious, whereas Berlin, if they're victorious, they could go as high as 8th. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. That's right, for Hertha Berlin. I think they've actually responded well to being on the lockdown and come back now, playing, of course, without any fans, doing very well. The hoodoos off their back, and now they're climbing the table and doing very, very well indeed. Okay, of course, last weekend. Oh, shoot, I just pressed the wrong button. But last weekend, big result for Paderborn against Leipzig. It's not going to count for much anyway. They are cut adrift. But they're going to take on Werder Bremen this weekend. It's probably a monster game down the foot of the table. It is a monster game. The last 4 meetings between the two sides sees 2 wins for Paderborn, 1 win for Werder Bremen, and 1 draw along the way. They played in Bremen earlier this season. It was a 1-0 win for Paderborn. Good win for them. Sven Michel getting a goal, a 90th minute winner. Absolute fandabidozi. Last time played in Paderborn, there was a 2-2 draw. So you've got to go back to 2014 for Werder Bremen's last victory over Paderborn. That was back in November. 4-0 comfortable win in the end. Paderborn actually failed to win the last 11 matches in the Bundesliga and have conceded at least 2 goals in 5 of the last 6 home matches. Heading into this though, Bremen back-to-back defeats, despite starting the old reboot in reasonable form. Prior to the 2 back-to-back defeats, they were unbeaten in 3 games. Whereas Paderborn now have actually just lost once in the past 5. They've drawn the other 4 though, so they're not really getting much headway with their not sort of unbeaten streak. Heading into this, the bookmakers odds 2-1 for Paderborn, 6-5 for Werder Bremen, 14-5 the draw. So Werder Bremen are the favourites for this one, and a win for them could see them rise above Fortuna Düsseldorf, depending on goal difference, into that playoff spot, which could be massive in the end of things. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Werder Bremen. I did back them past week for back-to-back wins, but they back-to-back defeats, so I'm hoping they'll get themselves back into the winning ways again this time around. Next up is Wolfsburg up against Freiburg. Of course, Freiburg picking up a monster victory against my boys, Mönchengladbach, last time out. Wolfsburg, though, turning a corner as well. The last 6 encounters between 2 sides sees 2 wins for Wolfsburg, and 3 wins for Freiburg, 1 draw between them as well. The last time they played was over in Freiburg around about December time. 1-0 win for Freiburg. That's when on that amazing run. Jonathan Schmidt, 85th minute winner. The last time they played in Wolfsburg was also a win for Freiburg. You got to go all the way back to 2018 in Freiburg for Wolfsburg's last victory. That was around about 7th of April 2018. Freiburg actually failed to win 11 of the last 12 matches away from home, so this is going to be a bit of a tall order. They come into this, of course, 1 win in the past 5. Wolfsburg looking decent though, 3 wins in the past 5. They've lost to Dortmund and of course Frankfurt not too long ago. Wolfsburg are a team to be don't underestimate them. They can come and deliver the goods in the end. The bookmakers odds on this one 8-11 on in favour of Wolfsburg. 3-1 is the draw. 10-3 is the long shots. That is Freiburg. Freiburg coming into this. Where are they in the table? They are now 8th, a win away from going into the top 7. Wolfsburg are in 6th. They got quite a few points to make up for if they're going to try and get themselves in the Champions League spots. They are 11 points adrift of Bayer Leverkusen, but they can close the gap if they're victorious and Leverkusen slip up. For me, I think I'm actually going to go with Wolfsburg on this one, 2-0 in the end to give Wolfsburg another win. Next up, Fortuna Cologne. Is that right? Fortuna Cologne? Yeah, up against Union Berlin. That's taking place. What day is that taking place? On Saturday, 13th of June. The last 6 encounters between the two sides sees 3 wins for Cologne, 2 wins for Berlin, and 1 draw along the way. They played in Berlin early in the season, around about December time. 2-0 win for Berlin. Sebastian Andersen with a brace. Last time I played in Köln was a 1-1 draw. You've got to go all the way back to 2013 for Köln to win at home against Union Berlin. That was a 4-0 win way back when. Union Berlin have actually lost the last 3 away matches and conceded at least 3 goals in those last 3 away matches as well. Heading into this though, both teams are in shit form. The past 5 games between the two sides. In fact, Union Berlin have drawn twice at the past 5. Köln have actually drawn 3 times. So they're both in very, very shady looking form. The bookmakers' odds on this one taking place on Saturday. Evens for Köln. 12-5 is the draw. 11-4 is the long shot, which is Union Berlin. A win for... They're looking terrible on Union Berlin. 14th at the moment. A win away from going as high as 11th. Köln are actually at 12th in the table. A win away from going as high as 9th. I like Köln, I do. I'm going to give them a 3-1 win on this one. 2 shady teams looking for a result to get themselves moving up the table, getting away from that relegation zone down the bottom there. And next up is the leaders, and of course the champions, and probably impending champions once again. Bayern taking on my boys, Borussia Mönchengladbach, over in the Allianz Arena. 3 wins for Mönchengladbach and 3 wins for Bayern in the last 6 games they did play in Mönchengladbach earlier in the season. That was a 2-1 win for Mönchengladbach. Get in there, my boys. They also played, last time they played in Bayern, in the league, it was a 3-0 win for Mönchengladbach. They may have a hoodoo over them. You never know. You never know. Bayern, though, have actually won the last 9 matches in the Bundesliga and actually kept a clean sheet in 5 of the last 7 home matches. Bayern have also scored 2 goals, at least 2 goals, in 8 of the last 9 matches in the Bundesliga, both home and away. 5 games, a winning run for Bayern. Mönchengladbach, though, 2 defeats in the past 4. Actually, only won 1 in the past 4, if you include that draw against Bremen. So a bit ropey. Their away form is pretty shitty as well, is it? No, it's actually not too bad. They haven't won once. They won once in 3 away matches. That was all against Frankfurt since once the lockdown came out of play. Anyway, the bookmakers will go with Bayern on this one taking place. It's the late kickoff on Saturday. 3-1 on for Bayern. 92 is the draw. 13-2 is the away win for Mönchengladbach. Let's take a look at this table. The table, if Mönchengladbach are victorious, they could go into 3rd spot. Bayern, of course, already 7 points clear. They could go 10 points clear, depending on what else goes on elsewhere. I'm actually going to go with Bayern on this one. Safe bet, this one, 4-1 in the end, to give them a big old boost. Next up, it is Mainz up against Augsburg. 2 teams that could do with some points. Mainz in 15th, Augsburg in 13th. The last 6 encounters between 2 sides sees 1 wins for Mainz, 5 wins for Augsburg. They did play in Augsburg around about December 2019. 2-1 was the victory for Augsburg. The last time that Mainz win was all back in 2018 in Mainz. In fact, that was the last time they played in Mainz. So put your money there, I'd say. Anyway, the last Augsburg actually won 6. Have lost 6 of the last 7 away matches. Actually failed to score in 5 of the last 6 away matches as well. They've conceded at least 2 goals in 7 of the last 8 away matches, so they are not looking good at the moment. The form book suggests 1 win. In fact, 1 defeat the past 4 games for Augsburg, both home and away, and that defeat was against Berlin away from home. Meanwhile, Mainz have actually just won once in the past 5 games, so not great form for both of these sides. They're both looking to get points on the board and move away from any late relegation drama. 5-4 is the bookmakers' odds for Mainz for the victory. 5-2 is the draw. 2-1 victory for Augsburg. A win for Augsburg could see them rise from 13th all the way up to 11th, depending on goal difference. Mainz are in 15th and win away from going as high as 13th. Tough one to call this one. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Mainz in the end. Give themselves a big old boost and maybe, just maybe, pull themselves clear of that relegation playoff spot, which is just around the corner. And finally, Schalke taking on Bayer Leverkusen over in Schalke this coming weekend. The last 6 encounters sees 2 wins for Schalke, 2 wins for Bayer Leverkusen, and 2 draws. They played in Leverkusen earlier in the season. It was a 2-1 win. The last time they played in Schalke, it was a 2-1 win as well. Goals in that the last one this season was Lucas Aliado with a brace. Benito Rahman getting the consolation for Schalke late on, 80 to 82nd minute. The last 4 games, though, sees 4 defeats for Schalke. They are in absolute ropey form. In fact, they scrapped that. The last 5 games they've lost. They haven't won 1 of them. They have drawn 1 and they've lost 4. Meanwhile, Leverkusen on pretty decent form at the last 5 games. They've won 3 and lost 2. Schalke have actually failed to win their last 12 matches. They're on a free fall at the moment. They were doing so well with Wagner early in the season. The lockdown actually has turned their form into absolute shocker form, and if this was the start of the season form, they could be a relegation candidate. It may still get sucked into sort of a zone that they don't want to be in, and maybe, just maybe, Wagner is on his way out. Leverkusen actually won the last 3 away matches, and I fancy them to get themselves something out of this game. The bookmakers' odds, 9-2 for Schalke, 7-4 on for Leverkusen, 10-3 is the bookmakers' odds. What have I got? I'll tell you in a minute. Schalke in 10th spot. They're a good 10 points clear of that playoff relegation spot. But they could get sucked into it. A defeat for them and a win for other teams below them. You just don't know. But a win for Schalke could see them rise up to 8th. A win for Leverkusen, who are in 5th, could see them rise to 3rd. Big jump for them. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Leverkusen in the end. But let's just say, between you and I, that all these puppies were to come on in, bang on the flipping nose, right? This is what the table would look like at the end of it. That's right, Bayern München will be top of the table. Of course, Dortmund will be in second. No change there. And Leipzig would remain in third. Mönchengladbach will drop down to fifth by Leverkusen up to fourth. And Wolfsburg will be in sixth. Down the bottom will be Paderborn, Werder, Bremen and Fortuna Düsseldorf, as you were. But the points much, much closer to the money. And that, my friends, is my match day number 31 predictions. Be sure to get your own predictions in nice and early so we can feature them next time around. And if you want to join the exclusive VIP gang of Patreons, there is a link down below. You could be number 10, the magic number 10 of the old Patreons. That would be absolutely fandabidos. In a very, very big week this week, of course, La Liga returns. We've also got the K-League, of course. It's a double match week as well. So once these games come around, there'll be a quick fire ones next week. So looking forward to doing that. Of course, the Germans are trying to wrap up the season nice and early and get ready for the new season, which I am as well. Speaking of the new season, next season we will have, of course, the prediction leagues, boys and girls, across the divisions. We'll have a prediction league for the Bundesliga, a prediction league for the Premier League, a prediction league for the La Liga, etc., etc., and plus some new leagues that we're going to kick off. If you want to get stuck into it, all you need to do is stick your predictions in. On a weekly basis. You've got to keep coming back to maintain your status in the league. I'll talk more about it on a video. Once I reach 15,000 subscribers, we'll talk more about it then. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to happen regardless, but I'll tell you more about the details later. But until then, boys and girls, be sure to give this video some love. Smash the thumbs up, smash subscribe, and I'll see you next time.